Hey everyone, I'm Boom.
And I'm Spice, and this is Fantasy Fridays, Episode 3, Red Seas Under Red Skies by Scott Lynch, the second book in the Gentleman Bastard sequence, the sequel to Lies of Locke Lamara. Boom. Did you like this book?
I did like this book, Spice, for a couple reasons. Some relating to the actual story and plot we're dealing with, others just because of new things I'm finding out that I just like to read about.
Yeah.
The old pirating. But yeah, I liked it. In general, I think this is a pretty solid addition to the sequence, to the Gentleman Bastard sequence. Uh, how do you feel about it?
I like nautical imagery in general quite a bit. So this is always going to be something that plays to my taste at least a bit. And I think there's a lot of cool setting choices, like the Sin Spire is pretty cool.
Yeah.
The artifice versus magic idea is pretty sweet. Um, there's moments, I'm not going to reveal who's doing it. There's moments of mystical trickery that follow around our protagonist. That's really sweet. In general, there's a lot of good ideas here. I just don't think it needed to be in this series. I think this could have been a novel unto itself with totally different protagonists, and it would have worked totally well. And I think that's to the detriment of the series
Yeah.
because the first book needed its setting and needed all of its characters. There's not one member of that gang, other than maybe Bug, that could be taken out of that book and it would still stand on its own. With this, you turn Locke Lamara into Jock Jamara and Lean, and you have them go through these adventures totally independent of the previous book, and it'd still work for me.
Yeah, an example of that, like I just finished the Assassin's Apprentice series. I'm always talking about that because
Yeah.
I like it, but I haven't gotten to yet. But it seems like it does a thing like that. So it starts off. The first three books are Assassin's Apprentice. I think it's called just that the
Farseer
trilogy.
trilogy or
Yeah,
whatever.
the Farseer trilogy. And it's part of the Realm of the Elden. But the thing that comes directly after that and before we get any more of those characters is called the Live Ship Traders trilogy. And that's like a seafaring adventure that involves the same world and the same like magic and things, but different characters that eventually kind of plays into the main overlying
Almost
story.
like a big interlude.
Yeah, and I think that would kind of be maybe a cool way to do something like that, or just have it be its own novel because I think it could be a standalone novel, like you said, just remove the first part and then add new characters.
And like narratively, you could almost cut this out and have it go Lies to Republic of Thieves, and you wouldn't miss that much.
No, I don't think you would. I really don't think you would miss a lot.
I think that's a problem. And it's not a big problem because it's a good book. I'd give it like a B minus, maybe a flat B, like a 85%.
Yeah. If the first one we gave a B plus,
It's like
I'd give
a
that
B.
a solid B.
Yeah, which I mean, it's good. It's very good. I like it better than any Brandon Sanderson book I've ever read, even the ones I like. And it's just, it's an issue that I like the characters and I like this book. I don't need these characters for this book, which makes it feel like these characters are being underutilized.
Yeah. Oh, I can completely see that. It's like you have another cool setting,
Yeah, a completely
another really interesting story,
Yeah.
On why they need to do this.
with cool antagonists.
But like at the end of the day, it's a really like self-encompassed story about these people. Like that could have been about any people.
Yeah.
Like and like I'm trying to picture what you'd be missing.
Yeah.
Besides just like
Little context
character
things.
development, but like where it picks up in the Republic of Thieves is it could really easily just be the end of Lies.
Yes, it that's that's a problem. It's not a big problem because it's still a good book. But I also think it's almost like a foreshadowing for the third book in terms of the twists it takes.
Mm-hmm.
Like seemingly every other fantasy series, it gets progressively longer, which isn't that big a deal for this series. But there's still some moments of gratuity and like drawn out sequences that didn't have to be, in terms of just like brutal things happening to people. Just didn't have to happen like that. Oh, there's also a bit of an undercooked subplot that we'll get into that resolves itself at the end without a whole lot going on in terms of foreshadowing. And it seems like it was sort of a hat on a hat, as it were. Anything else? Oh, yeah. Would you audiobook this or would you read it paperback?
Um, this one I think I actually audiobooked it, but I think you could go either way. The audiobooks for these, I will say, are narrated really well. The guy, like his accent, like the accent he uses for this, and the prose from these books, like gels really well. So it's a cool experience listening to them.
Yep.
But I think there's always that inherent like not getting to bookmark your pages very well, because I try. I'll try while I'm listening. There's like a button you can press to add a note on Audible, but then it's like, this is getting kind of texty and drivey. I'm not going to do it.
I usually dog ear, but these are your books, so I didn't. I didn't want to tear up your books, and that's like $60 worth of books right there. So I didn't want to buy them myself.
Yeah, I went out of my way for these ones.
Someday I think.
But anytime you borrow them, you can dog ear about that.
No,
that's what they're for.
I feel disrespect.
I have a fear. I like to read I like to read books. I was telling Bam, because he's starting a little bookshelf, and he doesn't like, once he reads it, he hates to give it out because he doesn't want it to get marred. And it's like, I think that's almost a fear of mine, is that my books don't, because I want them to have the appearance of like a friend can be here and be like, oh, like I've heard of that.
Like to pull it off the shelf and leaf through it. Yeah, borrow
it. So
like in the library.
So it makes them more approachable. Like you got a first edition shelf full, or like limited edition copies of these that you wouldn't even pick up, or let alone let your friends pick up. I think
makes it intimidating.
Defeats the point of it makes reading intimidating, and your taste intimidating. Yeah. So it's like, I like to have books that look read.
Yeah, and then reading should be for everybody. It should be for the proletariat. So not being willing to hand out your books and risk having them be.
Yeah, like I purposely keep, one of my favorite series is, Lord of the Rings, because it was about like maybe the first series I ever read, sentimental value.
Yeah.
The copies I keep of that are purposely the cheapest copies I could find at Barnes & Noble. So like I can lend them out.
And not fear of losing them.
Yeah, because I'll just get another copy.
Yeah. That's like, do you remember, I used to be into that whole, there was a trend post 9/11 about skepticism towards religion and the rise of science. And me being like 15, I was into it. And there was Daniel Dennett, who was a big part of it, but like the coolest part of it in hindsight, at least in terms of the guys who are still around. Giant tangent. But he had this cool book called Intuition Pumps and Other Tools for Thinking, with a bunch of cool brain games that like not like for kids, like actually testing it out with some history in it and stuff. And I lent it out to Boom and Bam, and I didn't get it back for like 6 years.
I do remember that, because like I had it, and it was really cool, and I was telling Bam about it. He's like, "Oh yeah, that sounds awesome." I should have like signed like a sub-hand receipt, like I've given this to you this day, if anyone asks, because I think he went through a little bit of it, but Bam, it's like, I think he, at that point at least, now he has actually had some finished books under his belt. But at that point, he just really liked the idea of reading, and that wasn't like a.
There's no narrative.
You're not like reading a story. It's it's exactly what it's titled.
Intuition Pumps, Other Tools for Thinking.
So I think that was kind of hard for him to get through, and then it just went on, and I don't know where.
I think I've got it.
And then, and then eventually, like, you're over, and we were talking about it. He's like, "Oh yeah, I've got that." So at least he kept it. It must have meant at least something to him if he was keeping it.
Oh man, that's so funny. No, that's a good philosophy to have, man. I like lending out my books. I when I'm a teacher, I plan on having my library be pretty open ended. If a student's gonna steal anything, I want it to be a book. Like, please take my books. If you're gonna read
Yeah.
it, if you're gonna read it and have your friends read it, take my books. I don't really care. I will buy a new one in the hopes that you read the book.
Mhm.
I could not care less.
Yeah, no, the most I'll do is like with these, like because I do appreciate good covers in books.
Yeah.
So if I very rarely will buy like some books will come out with like a 25th edition and they look
Yeah.
super awesome and stuff. Like I might have to do with the Dune books, even though I don't even love the Dune book. They just look so nice.
They get so bad eventually, bro.
They just came out with how I have that deluxe edition of Dune.
Yeah.
They came out with the other two versions of the deluxe edition, and they look really nice.
Yeah.
But like, I just wish I liked Dune more.
The first one's so good, and it just
the first one is like a cool. It's got its things. A lot of books have their things in in this genre, but it's a really cool book overall.
Yeah.
A lot of really cool ideas. So I'm happy to have the cool version. But
once you get into Messiah, it takes a pretty steep
Messiah was
nosedive.
a wild book.
It's mediocre until the end, and then what's the third one? Children of Dune.
I haven't gotten there yet. I've opened it.
It's like fine, and then God Emperor of Dune is probably the worst one I've read so far. About 100 and something pages into that, and after that, I've already bought Heretics of Dune, and then it's Chapter House Dune, and then all this
There's
stuff.
so many Dunes.
I plan on reading at least all the Frank Herbert ones. I don't know if I'll read the Brian Herbert ones.
Yeah.
Man, so frustrated. Would you recommend this? Would you recommend this book?
It's been a minute since we've been together for this, so we've got a lot of like book catching up to do. But I'd recommend this. And the two kind of gets a little bit broader. I feel like because it's almost like can be read as it's if you're not even interested in lies.
Yep.
Or
it's just genre. It's genre fiction.
Yeah.
It's a seafaring adventure.
You could read it totally not knowing any of these other stories or being interested in them, and have a pretty good time reading a book about people who are trying to become pirates to do some scheme and I won't say much more. I don't think we're spoiling yet, although
not yet. Not yet.
But you're pretty. You can just have a good time on the ocean or the sea.
If you
the Red Seas.
Also weird that they're Red Seas. I don't like that.
Under red skies.
Yeah, I don't like really obtrusive aspects of settings. Like Brandon Sanderson gets into that. It's like living in just the worst world ever. Mm-hmm. Like Elantris. It's like, oh yeah, you live in this coliseum filled with sludge and like rotting flesh. It's like, I don't want to read 700 pages of this. Mm-hmm. I had a friend in a grammar class not too long ago. I'm describing it to him. He's like, wow, that sounds like right up my alley. I'd love to have a setting like that. I'm like, please read Brandon Sanderson. I'm like, it's not for me. I'm glad it's for you.
Yeah.
I wish I could beam the time I spent.
If I could just hand it off.
Yeah, just get rid of it for myself and use that hard drive space for something else.
That's
I would.
Funny. It's me, man.
Oh man.
It's gotta be some. I mean, these boys
they're popular.
He's got a following.
There's like a YouTuber who's like personal friends with Brandon Sanderson, and now he goes on her YouTube channel for rankings of books.
I think I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't like that dynamic, at least for me.
It almost it's like when someone gets sponsored by I follow coffee makers or a coffee YouTube, and they'll get sponsored by a coffee maker.
Yeah, and now you're so
like,
subtly
this
influenced.
This is the
by
best coffee maker. And it's like, wow.
Yeah, that's
different
best
from
author.
The top 10 you released last year. I wonder why that is.
She's not a big Robin Hobb guy. Person.
Yeah, that's wrong. Objectively wrong. In my subjective opinion,
See, we wouldn't
objectively wrong.
be able to do that with my favorite author because I don't think Haruki Murakami. One, he doesn't do a lot of interviews. He's not big into the media, and two, he is also like Japanese, and while he understands and writes in English a lot, I I don't know Japanese, and I don't know the hallmarks of a native Japanese speaker speaking English.
Yeah,
So I don't know if I'd be able to help him
it'd be a,
and meet him halfway
it'd be a
anyways.
difficult interview process.
Yeah, I'll just keep on reading the books.
I'll just be happy to read. But yeah, no, I think I know who you're talking about, and yeah, that probably does create at least.
I've got no
some
problems
kind
with her personally. Like
No, and,
no,
and
she's got her thing.
even though this is the one that got me into Mistborn, like it's like that's one of the top, the ones I was looking at.
All right, we got different tastes.
Like,
That's okay.
How dare you? But yeah, no, that's cool. And then Sanderson seems like a really like nice guy.
Yeah,
and like easy to get along with like that.
I've heard no bad things about him as a person.
Super into his fan base. Like he's always
that was it a Wired article? Was it that came out trying to like skewer him and it was like grasping at straws, and everyone else was like, "This is like nonsense."
Yeah, and because it's one thing to just not enjoy the way a person writes.
Yeah,
you don't have
Brandon
to.
Sanders.
Yeah, you don't have to. I mean, that's just that's the way writing works. Some people are really into it. He's one of the he's probably, if not the most famous writer contemporary fantasy. I mean, he's close. For people like the books, and if they do, why would you stop writing them?
No, it's making money anyways. Like,
that was a wild article.
Yeah, weird, totally weird. And he's like getting into his religious background. There's some allegories for like Christ and some of his stuff. Yeah, that's the case in like all fantasy, like Narnia, like that whole deal with the lion. There's some in like Lord of the Rings has weird religious themes. There's religious themes in Dune, a bunch. Like, why are you trying to skewer this one guy for having his religious thoughts in his books when they're his books?
Happens. And they're his. Yeah, he's allowed to write.
Just don't read them. If you don't want his perspective on the world, read someone else's books.
Yeah.
Weird. That guy was just like...
No, and he's a nice guy. It's one thing if the author's a jerk, because there are some authors who are jerks to other authors.
Or just in general, to their wives and family. And
that's a different story. I mean, then maybe it's easier to be more critical. But
I still don't know.
But as a journalist, you're still it's your job to normally write a neutral.
And he's just a regular dude.
Yeah.
Like he's just like a religious guy, which turns some people off. Like, he's a part of a sect of religion that's pretty controversial. But beyond that, I've heard nothing weird about him. I think his proximity to his fans isn't something I do, but I'm also going to be a teacher, and that bleeds into the way I perceive relationships between people. So I don't know, he's not doing anything odd. He's just a dude who gives back to his fans. Very weird. This isn't really the place for this conversation.
Yeah.
But
I don't know what that's gonna be.
If somehow those two caught this, I hope they know that I have no ill will towards Brandon Sanderson, no matter how many of his books I read and I dislike. It
has nothing to do with that. It has nothing to do with how I view him as a person.
No.
And we're coming off a book that's pretty good.
Yeah. Elantris is not awful. It's maybe a B-.
Yeah.
Maybe a C++. I'm
just getting into it. And so far, it's fun.
Much better than even my favorite of his books so far. She is a big Well of Ascension gal.
Really?
Yeah, I'm more of a Hero of Ages guy, I think. But even that, I don't know. I think more Sazed, all the books. Don't think he should have became. Wait. I almost spoiled.
I heard
we got to get to the spoiler section.
Just a medium spoiler.
I didn't say it.
You did not.
I caught myself.
All right. But yeah, this whole book we're talking about here.
If you don't want to join us for the spoiler section, I hope you enjoy Red Seas Under Red Skies by Scott Lynch. Next episode will be The Republic of Thieves, and if none of these play to your taste, then Elantris is coming up soon. Got a lot in the pipeline, and we hope to see you soon.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you very much. I've been Boom.
I'm Spice. Sorry, I was drinking a bit of my Propel.
I
apologies.
caught him.
I'll be lacking.
But we'll see you in the next one. And we're back.
Welcome back, everybody. We're now spoiling the book and any other fantasy book we plan on covering in this series. So if you also don't want spoilers for Elantris, Mistborn 1, 2, 3, Dune 1, 2, 3, maybe 4, like basically anything we potentially talk about, the third book in this series, anything, dip out.
Yeah.
I don't want to spoil it for you.
Yeah.
No.
It happens. It happens.
Oh, yeah.
We don't audit these videos before they go up.
Yeah, and it's not the same as like the mainline series, where like it's a very clear progression. Like, I don't know, I've read 6 Discworld books now. Like, I don't
know. I don't even know what I'm spoiling.
It's just
a
big soup in my head now.
Yeah. Like, even getting ready for today.
Yeah.
To do these, like, I had to spark notes a little bit, just to be like, all right, what happened in which book? Like, I know they were sailing in one of them.
Yep.
But yes, spoilers of predominantly Red Seas under Red Skies section.
But every fantasy book you can imagine.
But also all fantasy.
Oh yeah. Boom. So seafaring books have been a big part of what I've been reading as of late. It's been strange. Like, there's some in Dracula. There's some, well, most in Moby Dick.
A little bit. I haven't read it. You could have totally got one over on me.
And then this one, and I think it's a cool setting where, like, there's those reoccurring themes of, like, there's the fear of the ocean. Some of that comes up in Dune in a similar way, like with the worms. Mm-hmm. There's always the chance they capsize and everything. And I think the fact that Scott incorporates real, like, seafaring myths and legends in there is cool. Like, there's this YouTube channel I like that I'll plug. It's called Maritime Horrors. And they had this series about, like, sailor, like, folklore stuff and, like, their superstitions. And one superstition that is real is the cats thing. Like, women, it's more so like they'd have mastheads and stuff. Mm-hmm. And like it was more so that, which I've seen a bunch of those because I've been to Connecticut now twice. This whaling museum, that's another part of it. I had another big excursion to Connecticut involving literature, where I read 1Q84 and I bought this hat from Walden Pond with Henry David Thoreau.
Yes.
His Walden. Yeah, I walked around Walden Pond.
Very cool.
And I'll show you the photo from it. It's so sweet. It's like, if you ever get the chance to go to Walden Pond, you should, because it's one of the coolest places I've ever been, especially as a reader. Mm-hmm. Like, so this was where his house was, where all those rocks are. And there's a giant pile of rocks where you're supposed to add a pebble or a rock.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
And there's a sign that reads, because the one takeaway I was given from my my American Lit class, that above all else was, when asked what is Henry David Thoreau's thesis, say he went into the woods to live deliberately. That's what was, hammered into our heads. And he, on the placard that's in front of where his house stood, it reads, "I went to the woods because I wished to live deliberately, to front only the essential facts of life, and see if I could not learn what it had to teach, and not, when I came to die, discover that I had not lived." Just fantastic quote.
Yeah. Beautiful
scenery. It's you're walking through one of the most important books ever in American Lit. That is something that money can't buy. well, it was like $20 to get it. But, you know, and for they're like 15 for the hat. Gorgeous hat too.
Yeah,
It's
no,
my
that's a
favorite
nice hat.
Yeah.
It's a nice, almost like the material looks weathered,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
but that's what you want in a
Yeah.
hat.
Yeah. It works with my my
It
favorite
does.
sweater. I'm happy about it. Yeah. So I had another good literature vacation. Um, and there's a lot of that like seafaring stuff within New England and beyond, like just the mastheads with women's carved onto them, and the gun whales, people going overboard and all that. It's like this with the cats and weird superstitions about like the Flying Dutchman and things like that.
Mhm.
Those things are real. They really do discuss them, like things with tattoos and all that. And I think his inclusion of that is really neat, and it goes to show that he put some real effort into considering this book.
Yeah, absolutely. That's impressive. To actually go out, especially like in the way, like the story of this book, how they are like learning all about it. And we're not just like put on a ship,
Yeah.
with it starting out, like they have to learn all of these things. Uh, it's really cool that he did take, he took the time to actually learn himself about these things so he could teach it to his characters. It's a cool thing. Uh, All to have Locke forget the cat.
Shoot.
That's funny.
I just realized something. This could have just been like the B plot to something they're doing in the current day with them being loaned out the way Father Chains did all the time.
Yeah, it would just
This
be another skill. Like
Yeah.
they're now they're pirates. Like they can
Yeah.
do seafaring adventures now. Like
This didn't need to be the main plot. And I don't know if Scott realized that.
oh, and it could have been cool, because like there is so much that goes into captaining these ships, as we learned.
Yeah.
So if they were just like had to do a job
Yeah.
and they have to take on this, captain persona,
Yeah.
it would be totally weird if they were just like, oh yeah, I can do that. Like
Yeah.
I'll just act like a captain and be on the ship.
Yeah.
This would have been like a good long form to give backstory for like why they can actually do it so effectively, and some like bad things that happened to them when they didn't do it super effectively.
And it could relieve some of the pressure because it's like, they survive because this is the flashback.
Yeah.
So it could relieve some of the tension. And I'd feel like if you spent more time with that as the B plot, you could turn the Sin Spire into an A plot.
Yeah.
Because you don't see enough of the Sin Spire.
The Sin Spire is cool.
It's really cool. It's one of the coolest things in the entire book.
And that's where they start off. Like he just like it's like we were talking about in the first one. Like he just has so many like
Good
really
ideas.
cool ideas. Like the Sin Spire itself, and the levels to it, and these games that they play, and the way you progress by just being noticed by these bosses.
Yep.
These different games, and even like what they're doing there is cool.
Yeah, the subtle cheating that they do.
Yeah, putting drugs on the cards because they notice someo's putting their hands in their mouth,
licking their fingers and touching it, and licking their fingers again.
Yeah,
that's sweet.
Yeah, it just lends to the coolness of this world so far in these books, with them having to be witty to get where they want to be. It's not just some like, you get your main character and they're just like, we're making it to the top one way or another because we're just gonna overpower them. I have just enough magic to do this. I've got one of these series that it's still like I'm still a nostalgia fan of it. But the second time through, like I just read them the second time here, like recently-ish. I didn't like them as much.
What are they?
The Sword of Truth series by Terry Goodkind.
Yeah, we had some friends at Jiu-Jitsu who recommended it. I got recommended it yesterday.
Did you?
Yeah, from Eric.
Yeah, Eric has read them. He asked me, he saw it was on my bookshelf. I come in and he's like, what's the wizard's first rule? I kind of knew it.
Yeah, he told me that. He was like, yeah, he kind of got it down. He said, it's been a while, but.
Yeah. But no, one of the, like, my least favorite parts of that is the main character's magic is basically just that he has enough magic to win. That's like, I mean, that's like, if I had to describe what his power is, it's literally, it comes from need. That's how he digs into his power, is whenever he needs it,
It's like he's Rocky
enough
or
is
something.
there. It's like, yeah, it's like he's Rocky. He goes into these and it's just like, man, this guy is like, no one's even come close to beating him. I don't know what I'm gonna do.
I'm just gonna do it.
I'm just gonna reach for my magic, and he throws it at him, and it's like, wow, it was just enough. And at the time, I was reading these, I was in like 7th grade, and I was like, man, he had just enough. Heck yeah, he did. Then you read it again, you're like, no, why? Like that, like he didn't have to think at all. Yeah, and it that's what it does. It takes away all of the suspense of these, because you don't have to worry about like Locke and John getting caught, because they wouldn't be able to do anything.
I was gonna say, yeah, if they got caught at the Sinspire, they're dead.
They're dead.
That's what most
slaves,
of us, yeah, like they're gonna be murdered in the street or tortured or something. Like it's not gonna go well.
No, this guy, like, he would die if he lost, but he's not going to lose. He's not going to lose because his power is literally to win. But
yeah, this is much better than that.
No, it's very cool to have such high stakes and just such cool environments. Yeah. Like, you go from Comore, so like the bar is pretty high. Like Comore's cool, and then you go and you're in the Sinspire, and like this is like just cooler. Cool. Like this is just an awesome place. Yeah. And then you learn of like 2 games that are happening, and they're both like crazy, intricate, like cool things. Like that one game where they're like human chess pieces or something.
That's not this book. That's the next book.
Is it not? Oh,
because
shoot.
Wait, is this book?
I think it is. Yeah, I think that was.
Oh, yeah, but that's not a part of the Sinspire, is it?
Isn't it?
No, because he goes with the captain of the boat.
Oh,
to liberate the people from the game.
But yeah, yeah, that thing. I guess it's just a point for the book.
But also, oh yeah, that's a big criticism of mine, because the chess game gets like no attention, and it's like the coolest part of the book.
Yeah, you could make. Yeah, I think you said it before.
Yeah, it could be a series.
You could have made just a story about someone going through that, like, or like having to dig out of that or dig people out of that, like in the whole.
And the creation of it, and the end of it. This is one book in a 7-part series that basically has an idea as good as the Hunger Games within it, and it uses at most 1/5 of one book to describe it. That's a problem. That is a great idea. Mm-hmm. The human chess thing and the societal implications, and like Locke having to grit his teeth and bear it, or else he would get discovered. That's a problem. It's really cool, and Scott does not focus on it nearly enough. No, it's way too neat and original of an idea to just be totally ignored.
Yeah, as soon as he was getting into this, I was so pumped to like be getting into this, and then just as soon as you're wrapped in, you're leaving.
They're gone. Yeah, they come back in instead, and like it happened off screen.
While you were away.
I'd be happy to have another 150 pages added onto this book that's just about that. Comparable.
Yeah.
It's a cool criticism to have, but it's gutting, especially when you look at the next book, which we won't describe here. There's a deficit of good ideas in that book. And in this book, there's too many good ideas.
Yeah, and it's like the same with book 1, with Chains, where it's like you just have like it's like it's good to want more of things.
Yes.
But at this point, it's like, give us some of it, because you can give us quite a bit and still leave us wanting more of these things. Like this, like you said, that could be a series in itself.
Yeah.
So giving us 100 pages is nothing. You just let us have it.
Yeah.
Let us have it. You have like some gold here, lightning in a bottle.
That could be its own book. Like you could go Red Seas Under Red Skies, a book called Chess Match of the Gods or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
And like it gets liberated, and then you get into the Republic of Thieves. Like that could be its own book comfortably, and it might be the best book of the series if they embraced it.
Yeah. Oh, it could be it. Yeah, it could be cool.
The violence isn't as over the top, even though it could have been in that situation, especially.
Yeah. Like that game, that situation is extremely gruesome, but you don't get that. Like it's written really well.
Yeah, it could be rapey hypothetically, or it could be like gruesome hypothetically, and it's not.
No, it's just intense
Yeah.
and good.
The Jean Tannen love interest storyline is a little dry.
Yeah, that's one of the things. I think I was a little sad when she died, especially if the whole next, like if we're presuming that Locke still has like a love interest out
Yeah,
there,
because that's
and
teased
they're gonna
throughout the
come
entire series.
together
Yeah,
eventually.
it would be nice.
It
to
almost
have
turns
Jean.
John into a side
Third wheel
character, which he doesn't deserve.
Yeah, you could have spun him off and had a family and just had Locke.
If you want to make it a Locke and Sabitha, like, then give him an ending, because when you do that, I mean, that just it creates a bad situation for John as a character.
Yep. And at the beginning of this book, isn't there that point where Jean starts this whole gang with Locke being all depressed, right? That's another part of this book that's awesome. I loved that. I like him being this mafioso
cool.
guy.
He could have done that could have been his.
That could have been the book. That could have been another 200 pages of that. No.
And that might have been a good way to bring in more of this Chains story, because like Chains at some point would have had to found the Gentleman Bastard, so maybe like
talks about its founding,
between how they're founding their things,
his first prospect,
yeah,
like something like that.
Because it was so cool. He goes in there and like does the whole like, all right, who's your guys' biggest, toughest guy?
And he just destroys them.
And then you think he's gonna be like, messing with these dudes. But he ends up like now he's protecting them, and there's gonna be his guys. And then like Locke's not into it because he's still mad about Bug and all them. And
he's
but that could have been okay. He doesn't have to be into it. Like
he could not be in this book. Like it could just be Jean and his gang for 500 pages committing crimes and stuff, and eventually Locke helps them out at the end or something, and then you get into Red Season under Red Skies. That could be an entire book.
Yeah.
It's mind-boggling that it lasts even less time than the chess.
Yeah. Oh, it ends instantly.
Oh, and I love gangs. I love gangs of people being good with individual skills, and they had it.
They've had it a couple times.
And they let go of it twice.
Oh, because I do. I love that.
Yeah.
It's so good. That's why I like the first book so much at the beginning. It's like you're like with the specialization thing, bringing a highly developed set of skills from all these people.
They could have used that for like the heist of the Sinspire. Also, the MacGuffin that they're trying to get from the Sinspire. Wait, you know what a MacGuffin is?
Maybe from context.
In books, a MacGuffin is just like a thing that is the goal that isn't powerful unto itself. It's like the Pearl of Death from Sherlock Holmes. That's it. Like it's
okay. Just the thing that they're trying to get, but not something that's
it's
the power.
It's just like it's a MacGuffin. It's just like something to chase after.
Yep.
It's like a championship belt in pro wrestling. It's a MacGuffin. What does it even mean to be a champion? Like I get like historically it was meant to be like a boxing championship where like you gain actual prestige and money, but in real life you don't gain all that much. Mm-hmm. It's just a MacGuffin. It's just the reason for it to exist. Those paintings they were trying to get or whatever, that's the reason for it to exist. And they wind up being counterfeits. That doesn't feel good. That doesn't feel good as a reader.
No, it didn't.
Take the wind out from under you. Like just knock the wind out of your sails by making it just like nonsense. Just
no, you get to the end and like through all of that and you're just like, that's all there is. They're making like they're supposed to be making like 30,000 a painting. Yep. It ends up being like 2,000 a painting. And
it feels like a Scooby-Doo episode where like at the end it's like, well, all's well that ends well, except like a
at the end of this one isn't Locke dying again?
Yep. Which that felt wrong. That didn't feel good. Like to start the next book in the same spot as the first book, just slightly worse. That pissed me off. I did not enjoy like the exact same character dynamic. Jean's mad at Locke for sacrificing himself again. He's dying again.
It was the exact same situation.
You couldn't wait a book.
done the same way, just Locke without his permission,
Yeah.
taking on the deadly thing and ending the book presumably dead.
Yeah, that didn't feel good.
Oh, jeez. You know what? I'm also. I think this book starts off with like a skip forward moment where Jean's about to kill Locke, like he's
Yes.
turned. I'm not normally a big fan of that. Like a 1 week, and then it goes like 2 weeks ago,
Yeah.
and like this happened that brought us here. I didn't know that it needed it that much.
You don't need to hook me.
It's the second book. Like I'm already here, and it wasn't like, I don't know, because
after when his gang is done for.
Like he's saying like you've done it this time, and he's supposedly turning, which we know like would never happen. Like by the end of book 1, like
Jean
they are a duo. That's never gonna change.
Locke is the only person Jean knows at this rate.
So you know it's not gonna happen. So it was like you're just like, how is this not gonna happen? And then it ends up being like Locke missed the signal. He's like, you didn't give me the hand signal. He's like, yeah, I did. He's like, oh.
Oh, yeah. It's just
I thought you did
nothing. Yeah.
So it ended up being like this skip forward, but we didn't get anything from it.
No. The more I think about this book, the less I like it, and that's a shame because I liked it a bit.
There's still. I mean, it's still a lot of cool stuff. Like for most of the time at sea was neat. Him trying. I like the whole like just trying to prolong this charade of knowing what I'm doing with this crew who thinks I know what I'm doing.
I like that the captain is not a bad dude.
Yeah.
It's one of the few people in this book that's just like a fine person. He was conscripted into this just because he's good at his job. That's really
not like a bad character. Just
really, a guy really who's doing his job.
Dude at his life.
Sailing. He's not a good dude. He's not a bad dude. Yeah. He's just a man who's trying to survive in this weird world full of thieves and despots. I like the magic versus artifice idea. I think that could have been explored more in future books.
Yeah.
The teases of the Bonds Magi are pretty fun. Knowing what they turn into, they're not that fun. But like I think the whole thing in like the the marketplace, everyone turns into ghosts or whatever. Like, with like the whispered voices, and that's
and people start, I think it was at the Sinspire, they start saying his name, like people, just random people in the crowd.
His real name
is Locke Lamar, and he's like, whoa, you guys aren't supposed to know that. Must be those guys we like. Must be about that guy we totally dismembered.
Yeah, must have been that war crime I committed.
That unspeakable thing I did.
That
couldn't possibly be coming back to haunt me.
Consequences of my own actions.
Yeah, jeez.
It's not a bad book. There's just like a lot of problems.
Yeah, it's one of those like where it was really like I read it very quickly and I was like really having a good time reading it, but it was just because of all of these awesome things in it. But then it's like you burn through 100 pages because you're reading about the Sinspire, and then the Sinspire ends. Oh man, but then here's this new idea that's also like just as awesome, and then that ends, and then if any of those could have just been like seen through,
too much of a good thing.
Really cool.
It's like you got this pair of pants, right? It's tailored perfectly for you. It's got plenty of pocket space, but it's also got like stripes, these cool stripes on them, but also they've got like this cool holster at the bottom for like your drinks, and like this all like it's tearaway pants, and it's got cool zippers up the sides that help you out. All this, it's just superfluous. Bunch of good ideas.
And then you go to try to use the drink holder, and like the stitching isn't good. The drink will fall through your pants.
Just too many good ideas.
Nothing's fleshed out quite enough.
Yeah, there's like 5 books here. There's the seafaring thing that would be a great B plot. There's the Sinspire, a great A plot. The chess game, a great A plot. You've got the love interest with Jean, a fine B plot. The artifice versus magic, a fine A plot. You've got the Bonds Magi teases, a fine B plot. That's 3 books.
And then John making his team.
That's an A plot.
And that could be a whole branch if you want.
With Locke dealing with his trauma, that's a B plot. That's 4 books in one book. It's not even the longest book in the trilogy.
Yeah.
It, Scott,
Yeah, it's just so much.
and you can't go back. The Sinspire's done.
No, you'd
You
have
you
to
already
just
robbed
be,
it.
yeah, you'd have to like
You can't go back there.
notate
The chess
these
game's
backseats.
Oh wait, there's that whole thing with like the pirate union, essentially. That's a cool thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, with like the whole union of pirates. Like, oh yeah,
yeah.
we
Once
already-
they get on the Orchid and they start meeting up with their people.
yeah, and like there's all that subterfuge involved in that. That's a cool A or B plot that can never be revisited.
Yeah.
Like
He's good at writing these organization things.
Yeah.
You know, like because I think the whole like underground city of thieves ruled by the cap, like that's pretty cool too, and like even your protagonist has to play along with it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So frustrating. So frustrating.
The whole being priests of the 13
Yeah.
is a cool thing.
Yeah.
You know, like how like they go into
He's like giving like last rites to sailors despite being a thieving god, and everyone's like, hey, like
yeah,
you
it's
don't like your god. And it's like,
he's like,
no, I am a priest.
yeah, no, I know. I'm not
It's
what
the
you
one
think,
thing
but
that
I am
I-
a priest.
That's like a really cool C plot, like underlying thing. That of all the things that I just described, that one gets an appropriate amount of time.
Yeah, I
but
think
still
so.
could have used a little more. It's a good problem to have. Like, if I could take all the time that I spent reading all those Dune books where so little happens, and just replace it with like cool thing A, B, and C from this book, that would be sweet. But it's not going to happen because one problem Scott has is every challenge winds up destroying whatever
Yes.
happened.
They don't
So-
just leave the Sinspire,
And
and
they
they don't
can-
just leave the game like it.
Yeah.
Crumbles.
Yes, exactly. The system that they had in Comor is done. The Sinspire will never welcome them back. They robbed them blind. It's never going to be the same. You've got the sea captain he trained under is dead. The Union of Pirates is done. The
Love
guy
interest
that-
dies.
Yeah. The like all of these, like his gang is dead, like Jean's gang is dead, and Locke's gang from the first book is dead. Chains is dead. This, like the chess game's done. You can never go back. You can never go back.
Yeah.
And
Because if you had just left them open, it's like you might not get to. It might not be with Locke and John,
Yeah.
but we've already talked that would be fine.
Yeah.
Like the seafaring would be fine.
Yeah.
If you come back and just be like the sin, go into the chess game of the gods. Like
Yeah.
that could be its own thing, completely aside from the story. It doesn't even have to remember that they were there. Because
Yeah.
now anything you'd have to do would be like in the past, but like the way it ends, like you really couldn't make it involve new characters because it doesn't end because of those characters.
It ends
It's
because
of Locke. Like,
Yeah.
so you ruin like the chance they would have of overthrowing it right there because it already happened. Like,
it's a good problem to have, but God, it's like giving me a headache thinking about how much good stuff is left on the table here.
yeah, I guess that's really the issues with it. It's just so much good things, so many.
And there's like half a good book in the next book. If you just replaced the A plot of that with one of these good
just
ideas,
make
just
this one about the seafaring.
Yeah.
And then you have all those ideas for books, apparently 4 through 7.
Yeah.
You've got enough, you've got it planned.
Oh man.
But yeah, I mean, still, it is a lot of good reading.
Yeah, it's a lot of good stuff. It's just not enough. It's like a lot of dessert. That's how it feels. Like you've got this cool looking cake, and it's just like mostly frosting. You don't really get to the substance of a lot of this stuff, and it's a shame because he's good. He's real good, and
Yeah, I mean, even just down to
He's
like,
close.
I like the way he writes.
yeah,
Like
there's
aside from
less
just
swearing.
the storytelling, like he writes well.
There's
The
nothing
prose is
gross.
good.
There's nothing like nasty in this book.
Mhm.
There's that point where like there's that nuke type cannon ball that Jean's love interest needs to get.
grabs and
Yeah, that's pretty gross, but not like as bad as the
no,
the
and they don't. It
piss
doesn't go
barrel.
into it as far as that.
Nor should they have. They did a good job.
Yeah, because I mean, just in a world like this, like crazy stuff happens. It's just we don't need to know about every
grisly
piece of
details.
flesh that's falling off.
Yeah.
Like we get the idea.
I don't like the ticking clock made by the poison. That does not feel good at the end.
Oh yeah,
Like I would have liked that to be resolved.
me too.
I
All
like
right, 1 second.
me to. Oh,
All right, we're back.
all right. Yeah, I don't like how the ticking clock isn't resolved. I don't like that it would necessitate supernatural means to get it fixed based on what they've been discussing because they've exhausted most of their resources in this book.
Mhm.
He pigeonholes himself really bad by the end of this book. And it's a shame because there's so much good stuff in this book. This book is what, 600, 700 pages?
I think it's close. Yeah. Yeah, 611, probably about 620.
Yeah, this could be 1,000 pages if it wanted to be. And I would still be just as into it.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, like, it's cool to have these long books when you have the substance to get you to the end of it. And this one, it's like the opposite problem. But you have a 600-page book, like that's not a small book, but you have so much substance.
Yeah. You could double
You
it.
could make it big. Yeah, it's not a. It's a good problem to have, but it's one that you can deal. It would have been cool if it was dealt with.
Is Locke's time on the farm in this book or the previous book?
I think it's the previous book.
Okay. You could do more Father Chain's adventures while you're in there.
Yeah.
Heck, that's a crutch for the next book. That's what he uses in the next one. Yeah, it's annoying. It's annoying that there's so much good stuff in this book and it's just put to waste. Any more thoughts?
No, I think we got most of what I had like in my mind, because there's so many like little bits of plot there that I wanted to make sure we talked about.
I think we
hit them there. But yeah, overall,
good book.
I'd still recommend it. Just because like I'm happy to know about these things.
Yeah.
Like, I wish I knew more about them, but
I want more so bad.
But these are really cool ideas to even just hear. You know, like just to be basically just have them pitched to you while you're reading. But they're really, I mean, it's cool. It's cool to think about. It's cool to think about all these possibilities that could have been there. And cooler to read about them.
Much cooler.
But it is what it is. I do like it, and I do recommend it.
Yes.
The same audience that likes, if you like The Lies of Locke Lamar, you'll like this similar feel. And also, if you're into nautical books with like an effort to be genuine with the material, I think he does a good job there.
If you like the idea of magic versus practical skill, which is a theme of the first book, and it carries over even more so in the second book, because the whole artifice versus magic thing is pushed by the villain, where you go through this jungle type sequence that turns out to be artifice rather than magic, and everyone thinks it's magic. In a world without electricity, where it's like pulleys and levers and ropes and stuff, it's neat. And I think it's the sort of thing that jaded fantasy fans can get down with.
Oh, yeah.
Where you go, I'm sick of protagonists who are the most dangerous person in the world. And now it's like these people need their wit, they need their craftsmanship, they need skills, practical skills to beat magic.
Yeah, it gives the writer an opportunity to showcase, what they can do.
Yeah.
Storytelling wise, I think that's what a lot of fantasy writers kind of like hurt themselves with, is like they create this character who's so powerful. It's hard to come up with any real stakes for them. It ends up being in some books they have to like try to take the magic away, and that's always like some weird thing. It's like, well, why wouldn't they do that 3 books ago? Like,
even good media gets into that, like Avatar.
Yeah.
The whole like having to lose his ability to go into the Avatar state. Like, even good media that has powerful characters needs a way to create buffers for them.
You got to put them on some kind of crutches to make the ending like
Meaningful.
at least a little bit suspenseful. And in here, there's just always that inherent suspense because these are fragile people. You know, like John's a big dude, tough guy, but the Bonds Mage, they know his name. Like, you know, he's always in danger.
Constantly.
If he looks at one of them. You know, if they can even think about him, he's under their control. Like, you know, Locke has that buffer, but these are still like, they have poisonous falcons. Like, they are powerful with their magic, and they have none of it so far.
And you step 1 foot out of line, you accidentally kill one, you are dead. It's over. You are.
That's another cool thing. That's a cool aspect. Like, I didn't even. I mean, I thought I didn't mention it here. Like, that's cool. You know, it's not like you just go to vanquish these people. You set up some plot and you get one of them, and you're like, yes. You can't do that. You can't kill any of them.
It's worse than
you better not. Yeah, you just got to escape. Or just to stay on their good side, and they haven't done a good job of that.
Not at all. These rascals.
That creates a cool balance too, where you can't even fight these guys if you wanted to. Even if you have an awesome plan and you go through with it and you get one, you're in worse position. Definitely, like, no matter what your problem was with that guy, you're in a worse spot now. Like it's a cool extra layer.
It's like quicksand. Like,
the more you struggle against them, the worse you're gonna be.
Yeah. Oh man. Any last thoughts?
I think I'm good.
Solid book, just not long enough.
Yeah. Yep.
Too much.
I think that's what we got. Too much good stuffed into too little of a volume.
Just the sweetest coffee anyone's ever drank.
Yep.
And it's certainly better than something so bitter you can't drink it, but it's almost as bad because it's.
Yeah, it's just it just leaves you like with that, like, just the taste of something that could be so good.
You're so close. You're
I mean, like, this book, you know, has books in it, like, you know, like that could be all A's. You know, like this, you know, we give it a B out of you know, our super official ranking system.
Yeah, that we do all the time.
But this could have been, you know, like several books getting just A's like all day. You know, he's got the wit to write, because that's another thing. I think some authors, like, they'll try to do these schemes and make up these plans, and like it's not. They're not as good at wrapping it all together, like, you know, something like that. But he comes up with these plans, and like he comes up with like good ways, like cool things that are really clever.
There's a quote about, or either by or about, Arthur Conan Doyle that's like,
I think I know the quote.
Yeah, your characters are only as clever as the author.
Yep.
And
that's exactly it. And he's a smart guy.
He is clever. You can say whatever you want about him. He is one clever dude with lots of good ideas that just do not get enough time, which is a good problem to have, but it's still really annoying, especially considering the next book.
Yeah.
And on that note, I've been Spice.
And I'm Boom. Thanks for listening.